Hi everybody. Hey, it's Live Pro Talk here. It's Tara here, as usual, and I'm here with Cindy. Cindy, thanks for joining us today. Cindy has been with Super Hair Pieces on your 9th year, right?
Yeah, I'm going into my 9th year.
Woo!
Yeah.
So 9 years with Super Hair Pieces itself. So today we are talking about the evolution of the hair system. I kind of did a little bit of research because I wanted to kind of look at where hair systems started off in the beginning. So a little information just to kind of share with you guys before we get into the nitty gritty here with Super Hair Pieces themselves. Apparently, I mean, who would have thought? Ancient Egypt. Of course, that's where it first started. This is where wigs were worn for fashion and to protect themselves from the sun. So initially they did have a reasoning for wearing wigs. It wasn't just about hair loss. It was really more as a fashion statement and more to kind of really, I guess, kind of protect their heads from sun. It's pretty sunny in Egypt, I guess. Then they got into like the Rome and Greece era where they did it more for a symbol status symbol. So really kind of like, to make yourself seem more important, you wore wigs. And this was worn by both men and women. So everybody wore wigs back then too. Then we get more into like the Middle Ages, Renaissance. Again, it was practicality over fashion itself. But then it kind of fell out of it really wasn't a big thing for a while. And then in the 1600s, it made a comeback in Europe. And that's really when it was about, kings and queens, people of status, the patterned wigs, you would see them more in the courts. Everybody wore those really curly wigs there. Those
my favorite era.
Is it? There you go. And then in the 19th century, that's really when it came into play that wigs were worn for hair loss. So kind of really to combat the look of hair loss and make sure that people were kind of making themselves feel better about themselves. So that's really where we got to that point. Now, the mid-20th century, we were very popular with hair pieces, but it was all synthetic materials. They did make them a little bit more affordable for individuals, but then, because it was more affordable, they were using like really synthetic materials, so they were really fake looking. Like you could spot them a mile away. I think that's when people were starting like, oh, he wears a rug. Yeah. That's, I guess, yeah. So, now, of course, they did try to make them a little bit more breathable, ventilation, all that good stuff. And now they really kind of, at the late 20th century, we kind of changed the bases a little bit. Polyurethane, custom fit pieces, something that was a little bit more natural looking. And then since then, we really kind of just advanced our technology from there. So that's where you come into play here. Tell us a little bit about, like, in your 9 years with the company, where have you seen the evolution of Super Hair Pieces systems?
Oh, well, when I first started, a lot of the pieces were kind of very heavy. Again, the clientele at that time were much more like older, right? We got the 50-year-olds, the 40-year-olds who wanted that Elvis looking hair, who wanted the durability. And I think over time it has progressed into more of a younger generation. And in order for us to tailor to the younger generation who wants more natural looking pieces that look and feel very natural, we developed more models with Super Hair Pieces that really accommodated that. So I mean, Super Hair Pieces has grown significantly since I first started. I think I was able to memorize all the models. And now it's just like, it's getting hard for me to remember what model is what. It's because we have developed so much for such a wide what individuals now. So yeah, it's been pretty cool to see. Cool.
Now, do you think that what do you think is bringing the younger generation with accepting wearing hair pieces now versus, back, 10 years ago where you really didn't see a lot of younger guys wearing hair pieces. They'd rather rock a shaved head. What do you think is the difference? Is it because of the hair pieces that change, or do you think society has changed? What do you think is kind of like done?
I think it's more society. Like there is more normalization to wearing hair systems now. It's just like, you know, when women wear hair extensions, it's normal. It's the thing that, you know, women do now is have that extra hair, and nobody criticizes them for having hair. So the industry itself has really normalized, like, okay, yes, we do have hair loss. But there is now alternative solutions, and such as, you know, non-surgical hair systems, which allow more people the freedom to, if they want hair, they have that option. Sorry. Whereas, like, yeah, everybody was rocking the bald look, but not everybody was accepting that that would be their style. I remember, I think my youngest client that I've ever had to do a consultation for was 16 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and for me to understand where, you know, his dad came in, his dad was fully bald. He understood, like, yeah, we're gonna rock the bald look, and he loved it. But to see that 16-year-old saying, no, like, I want my hair. I want my hair going into high school. I want my hair like all my friends have that. It was kind of like, okay, I see, like, you know, yes, people still want their hair even through hair loss, and to provide that normalcy that it's okay to, you know, get into an alternative solution. It really has brought the industry to where it is right now, because with social media, everything is just like in your face type of thing, and the more people are accepting of this, like the more, you know, companies like Super Hair Pieces can develop and cater to the needs of a younger generation.
Yeah, I definitely feel that there is, you know, when I first got into the industry, I think it was like 12 years ago, nobody would be caught dead videotaping themselves, putting on a system or doing a before and after. Like, it was so hard to convince anybody to do anything like that. Versus now, like, so many people are so open to it, which is like really great. Because I mean, again, it doesn't seem like such a taboo thing to do. And again, like, guys can wear hair pieces, women wear extensions and eyelash extensions and makeup and everything else. Like, why can't guys also do something that makes themselves feel good, right? So what would you say is being with Super Hair Pieces, what would be the one system that you think was the biggest seller? Like the biggest, the one that's kind of really outdone them all?
Yeah, so it would be the M104, M109. So when I first started, it was either you got a skin base or you got like the M102, which was like very durable piece. It had the very thick polyurethane, that poly coating. And you had like two different kind of segments of clients. So you've got the clients that really wanted that thick volume, durable hair piece. And then you got that skin base, I want the natural look. But it came with less density, right? So then they introduced like the M109 and the M104, which is like a skin poly perimeter with the same monofilament on the M102. So you got that durability, but then they introduced that lace front.
Yes.
Which really gave that kind of natural look and feel, because again, lace was also the other natural looking hair system. So again, it was either, it was either the skin, the full lace, or like a mono top. And so the M104, M109 was such a huge hit when they started really producing that. And I was just like super excited, because that's always my go-to when you're a first time wearer. You don't know what you want, but you know you want hair, you know you want durability, you know you want natural looking. The M104, M109 is like you get like the best of both worlds, essentially.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And I think it's still as popular today as, you know, it's ever been. It's really one of those systems I don't think it's ever going to not be popular. Now, do you have a favorite system now? Like, about all the new ones that are, do you have anything that's like a favorite?
I really like how the HD 111s are looking on a lot of the clients that are coming in. It is looking a lot more natural, but was it the M158? Is that with the lace windows?
159.
159, yeah. So those ones are also like my favorite. But I would have to say the new HDs, the M101V, the V loop. I like
nice,
that one.
yeah.
It has like the density that you're looking for. It has that skin base that really makes it look natural. And yeah, it's one of our newer models, and I was really excited when it came out. So.
Yeah, it's a really great. It's honestly a great system. I have a few favorites. I can't really say I have a favorite anymore. I mean, I think I always base it on what the client is looking for. So, rather than what my favorite is, I try not to be biased when I'm doing a consultation. I think that's the hardest thing is
Yeah.
like when you have a favorite system, like, yeah, the HG111 is an amazing system. And we all know Rick, and Rick looks great in the system. So, every time someone's like, oh, that's the one I want. It's not always the perfect choice for somebody, unfortunately, though. Like sometimes, depending on your lifestyle or what you're actually looking for, it might not actually work. But yeah, for that being said, though, we do have if you're watching the live today, guys, we do have a coupon code going out for any of the individuals that are looking to get one of these systems. So we have the HD111, the M111, and the M101. So open up HD111, M101, or M111. You get $15 off any color. So that's a great deal, guys. So if you are in the market for any of these systems, grab them. You have until, I wrote it down. You have until, did I write it down? I think this Friday. Friday?
October 14th.
Oh, October 14th.
Thanks for being.
I had the voice from beyond tell me October 14th. We do have this deal going on, guys. You can order up to 3 pieces for each one. That is the max, though. So make sure to get your systems, again, $15 off any color. So that's a great deal. So yeah, anyways, so I guess, do we have any questions going on just yet? Anybody looking to ask Cindy questions, myself questions? Anybody ask questions? We do. Let's see what we have.
I like questions.
I know. Oh, Jeff, which was the earliest model?
Earliest model. Well, when I first started almost 9 years ago, it was the M102, the M112, the M101. The M100 was actually pretty popular back then because they started introducing the skin poly. So for me, those were kind of like the first kind of hair systems that I witnessed. You've been in the industry a little bit longer, so.
I mean, I think we were kind of using all of them. The M106 was really popular even back when I was doing them. So, yeah, like we didn't use, I know myself, the HG111 wasn't a huge one. I know at the time, back when I was doing hair consistently, the HG111, we called that the rich man system.
Yeah. Sorry.
Because you could only afford it if you were like loaded because you needed a new one so often. But places like Super Hair Pieces has really made that affordable for everybody to use and even be able to use them often. So that's a really great thing. But yeah, so there you go. Yeah, the 102A. Wow.
Yeah, that was like that. Those were the ones that really wanted that Elvis looking, durable, wanted to last more than 9 months.
Yeah,
clients.
you want people coming in.
Usually, the older ones. And the older generation were the ones that did have that kind of rug on their head and they were okay with it.
Well, yeah, because that's what they were used to. And I'm sure going from like a typical, I guess you could say, like toupee to a hair system, which I always say there is a difference. Like, toupee is essentially more like that rug look.
Yeah,
like that's really kind of what we're referring to when we say toupee. Though we still call our systems now toupees, just so you know. But the old school name toupee was usually kind of referring to that kind of rug look. But yes, another question out there? Oh, you found us on TikTok. Yay.
Yay, our marketing works.
Woohoo! Well, nice to have you with us. Feel free, to, order a piece. Yes, normalized hair pieces. It is great that we have normalized hair pieces. I think it is something that's really kind of worked for the masses and not made it so taboo, you know?
Yeah. And like more younger, the younger generation are really accepting it more. Like we've got 19-year-olds now, 18-year-olds, and it's just seeing that transition. It really makes you like feel good to know that there are a younger generation that's really more accepting, and we're not out here bashing each other type of thing. And men are more like upfront about it. And it's honestly really great to see. Like, we see it with women, but we don't really talk about the men and their confidence, right?
Well, I know, like a lot of guys, I've talked to a lot of clients, and a lot of clients will be like, oh, like everybody, even women, will be like, oh, when women lose hair, it's worse than men. Men are used to this. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Men are not used to this at all. It affects men just as much as it affects women. I think hair loss, period, affects people in different ways. Yeah, you might have somebody who's fine with it. And hey, yeah, just rock your bald look, shave your head, and, be a man. You know what? Those days are done. I mean, it's okay. It's okay to wear a hairpiece. It's okay to, feel good about yourself again. I don't think it's, unfortunately, when hair loss hits, it can happen to people when they're young. It can happen to people when they're older. It really is different for everyone, but you have to feel good about yourself. And if that means putting on a hairpiece and being able to walk out into the world and feel good about yourself, I think that's ideal. Any more questions? Chris? I love being part of Super Hair Peeps' family, rocking the HD. Yay, Chris!
We love you too, Chris.
Yay! Yeah, HD11 is like awesome. It's a great piece, and honestly, it is a beautiful hair system. But that's not to say, guys, that you can't find something that'll work for you if it's not the ideal system for you. So, you know what? There's a lot of great systems out there. I always say, check out the website because, again, we are always coming up with something different. The owner is amazing with, always getting feedback from, the staff, from the clients, from everyone to kind of improve the business and improve the hair pieces and get better things out there and things that, could work better for the clients. So, we always love your feedback, guys. It really does help. Any other questions? Nick, what is V-loop?
Oh, that's a me question.
Hi, good Al.
V-loop is when the knots, essentially, you got one long strand of hair and they knot it. It goes in one way and it goes out the other. So you've got a knot that looks like this. So anytime you see V-loop knots, it's essentially the hair is just knotted like this. I hope that answers your question. And you usually will find it on a skin base. Like, you won't be able to see V-loops on kind of like a lace material.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, it wouldn't work that way because and the V-loop's purpose is so that the hair kind of looks like it's coming right out of the material, and that you don't see the knots at the bottom. So V-loops are very natural looking.
More delicate though too. So that is something. Where are the systems made?
So we actually own the factory, and they are made in China. And because there's no middleman in between, us and our consumers, we're able to, allow our products to be, one, of high quality, but two, of affordable prices. We're able to provide affordable pricing for quality hair systems. But yes, all of our hair systems are made in China.
What is the V-loop system compared to the HD111? So HD111 is a V-loop system, so it is the same, and it's the same thing. It's just how the hair is actually put into the system itself, versus knotted systems. Like if you look at
M101.
The M101, yeah. You look at even any of the lace systems, you have to have a knot. If there's no knot, it's gonna come right out of the hair piece. With the V-loop, because you have the skin, it's kind of like sealed in there. Right, so you can actually have it look like it's coming out of the scalp. But the HD111 is a V-loop system, just so you know. So they're one and the same, Chris. Again, guys, we do have a discount right now. So you $15 off your HD111, M111, and M101, and that's till October 14th. So feel free, any colors. As long as there's no double discounting, obviously, but again, you can get up to 3 of each type. So that's the maximum for that deal.
It's a really good deal.
Huh?
It's a really good deal.
It is a good deal, I know. Any other questions, guys? Are we good? So we're just going to keep talking for a couple of minutes because I know we're like usually got a minute lag. So just in case other questions come up. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, we'll probably keep this going for about another couple of minutes. So get your questions in and then we can answer them. Anything that you need to ask. Feel free to ask us anything. It doesn't have to be pertaining to what we're talking about today. Even if you have just random questions, guys, feel free to put them out there and we can definitely answer anything for you, even if you just want to pick one of our brains for something. But yeah, so I guess what do you feel is the future
Ooh, the future.
for super hair pieces?
I mean, I can only see super hair pieces growing. It's grown significantly in the last, 8 to 9 years that I've worked here. We started with a small office, one here and one in the U.S. when I started. But, the owner has started this business way before I worked. But just to see the evolution of super hair pieces.
Yeah.
Alone and the way that we pivoted during a pandemic really sees how I really see how successful this company is going to be, and it's going to be a long-lasting company. So, I mean, we're only going to improve from here, to be honest. We have more hair systems coming. We now have a wig boutique in Toronto, which is, oh my gosh, I have been dying to see forever. But, we also service, men clientele here as well. So, I mean, there's just so much new things happening with super hair pieces. We're adding new locations. I'm hearing from the grapevine, there's going to be another location in the U.S. soon, and also in different provinces of Canada. So I can't wait to see what the next 10 years is going to look like with super hair pieces. But if you are looking to consider a brand, and I'm not saying this in a very biased way, but kind of am. But if you are looking for a brand that's going to provide you quality, affordability, but is going to be here for a long time to provide that consistently, then Super Hair Pieces is definitely heading in that direction for many of our consumers.
Yeah, definitely. So. I mean, I started purchasing. That's how I actually became to know Super Hair Pieces. And you say, yeah, you know what, they've got something good going on here. And that's pretty much why I joined the team in the first place, because you kind of see that, and and I knew Cindy back then too.
Yeah, I knew her back then, way before she worked here. So I've worked with Tara for quite some time. I did a lot of the custom orders.
Yep.
But I remember when I started Super Hair Pieces, it was hard for us to get some marketing even going, because we were one of the most affordable hair systems. People thought that we had cheap quality hair.
Yeah,
that
that's
was a
how
big
you're.
thing.
Yeah,
and it was one of those things where we weren't invited to those big, large hair conventions that allow us to really service a market that needed what we offered. But seeing that we are now being invited to these kind of organizations and being able to promote ourselves in a way that, yes, we do provide quality, and that we are going to be here for a long time. It's just the growth of Super Hair Pieces alone is amazing. So,
and the evolution of Super Hair Pieces.
Yeah.
That's what it should have been called.
Yeah. but the industry itself, it's and I we really have to give thanks to social media, because it was really one of those things where you had to really market this at the right time, type of thing, and people were looking for solutions, and we were there, especially after the pandemic. Oh my gosh, during the pandemic, that was crazy. There was like a lot of scarcity with hair systems.
Oh, there was. It was really hard. I think it was really hard in general, just everything, even clients just having to do this themselves. I think that was the big thing. Clients were not used to that. I know ours weren't like that at that point. So, but yeah. So any other questions out there? Oh, Nick, how long does it take to do a maintenance? Are we talking a maintenance on yourself? You doing it yourself, or us doing it for you? If we're doing it for you, it takes us about an hour. If you're doing your own maintenance, double that, at least. We've been doing this for years, so we're like on the go, quick. Doing it yourself might take you a little bit longer, soaking the pieces, cleaning them off, Rick, who does his own maintenance, suggests you always have 2 pieces, so you could actually have one soaking and then you can work on the other one to put it back on. So if you're looking to do it yourself, ideally, I think you should always have 2 pieces regardless, just to be on the safe side, in case anything happens to any of your pieces. But yeah, if you're going to do it yourself, have 2 pieces and then literally just kind of bounce between the 2. Clean one, so you're not kind of spending all that time. The hardest part is cleaning a hair piece, definitely. If you're using glues, that's just a new thing in itself, trying to clean that off. But again, if you're coming to us, it takes us about an hour for you to come in, get a haircut, do a service, clean the system, put it back on you. So, any other questions? It's not good. Is there a special care that should take with V-loop systems?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't go too crazy with them while they're still wet. The fibers of the skin itself actually expands. You can actually pull the hairs out a lot easier if it's wet and you're kind of doing too much tugging. I feel the biggest issue with clients and V-loops, especially if they're doing a they're trying to do an exposed hairline. They spend a lot of time brushing and combing and doing that, like the brush back or the blow dry, and then they start to lose that hair at the front first. It's just things to kind of keep an eye on. Hard parts, people will lose it on their part first. So, they don't last as long as, say, a mono system or even a lace system. Because it looks so natural and it isn't really knotted. They do come out faster, but again, I don't know. Do you have any feedback on that?
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah.
When the system is wet and you have a V-loop knot, so just think of the way it's knotted, it will essentially, the holes where the knot, the hair goes through expands, and once you brush that, it just slides right out. So those kind of things you do have to be careful for. If you want your system, your HD111 to last you long, like that would be a big, just make sure the base is kind of wet, like the base of the hair system, before you do any kind of rough. Yeah. We don't even suggest doing any rough brushing, but,
no.
And the brush that you use is also very important.
Yeah.
So we always recommend, the V-loop, the loop brushes, or the vent
brushes that have the little balls at the little end there, so that it stops from any of those brushes that have the hard bristles, straight bristles. You want to avoid those. Those can rip a system, can rip the lace. You want to avoid those kind of brushes. Just, be very careful on the material you're using. If the little, I don't even know what that's called in the brush, little
ball?
No, the little
I don't know either.
Yeah, you know what I mean. The little pieces on the brush, like if they're very small and thin and they catch the hair too easy. I don't tines on a brush. I don't know what they're called. I
Bristles,
guess
right?
They're bristles. Yeah, there you go. It's a late day.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, any more questions? I gotta love live. I've been considering this for months, but just can't decide which one is best for me. Honestly, Nick, you could also get yourself a consult. An online consult could definitely help. Maybe talking to someone and explaining your situation. They can go over your lifestyle. They can, really kind of dive deeper into what one would be better for you. That might be something you want to consider. It definitely is good. And we have a lot of great people doing consults, so they could really definitely help you out and kind of get you at least going towards something that might be specifically for you and would work great for you. Any other ones? It's the best way to go out of lace. Ooh.
Out of
yeah, that one's a hard one. Usually, and I just actually had one today. So my technique when I've got a lace system and they've just used glue, like say for example, if they're using the Ghost Bond and majority of that glue's on there, first there's one way you can try is doing almost like a dry rub. You take a towel, paper towel, and you try to rub off the glue, see if that works. If that's not gonna work because it's really in there, you gotta soak it. So then what I'll do is I'll soak it in the C22 rapid release for a little while, and then I take like a card of some sort, an old card, and I'll scrape off the product, soak it again, scrape off the product. What the card does is it's not going to go into the lace and actually tear it apart at all, but it is going to get really in there and kind of like get majority of that glue out of there. After that's done, I'll rinse it off in really warm water because that helps to break down the glue too. Then I go in with a brush to kind of get those last little bits. That's what we do here. I feel that's probably the easiest method. But yeah, getting glue out of lace is definitely a challenge. Yeah, it's definitely a task. So yeah, hope that helped. Can a hairline on a custom piece have a little more recession in the temple areas? Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah.
When you're doing a custom piece, you can technically make it any shape you want. So yeah, you can really go in and do that.
Yeah, I used to do a lot of custom orders, and yeah, sometimes, you know, and that's why we developed actually some of the hairpiece that have, you know, less density in the front, and then more density all around. It's because that was kind of one of the biggest things that we were seeing with custom orders, is that people wanted the density all around, but they wanted that natural kind of hairline look and not so much density at the front. So yeah, definitely with custom orders, you can request to have, you know, 5-10% less on your temple, for sure.
Good. Eric, how is it possible that your prices are so good compared to Hair Club? Is the quality that is compromised? Definitely not the quality. Do you want to answer that one?
We own the factory, so there's no middleman. There's not somebody purchasing hair from us and then upcharging their clients. It goes directly to us, and that's why we're able to afford such affordable pieces, because there's no middleman involved. Usually when there's a middleman involved, that's when the prices kind of increase, because depending on how much one company is buying from another factory and then selling it to their consumers and all that, you know, kind of supply chain management type of stuff, we're able to skip all of that and go from the factory directly to our consumers. So that's why we're able to afford such great quality pieces at affordable prices.
You have to take in consideration something also. It's not that, so this is the thing. It's not like you're purchasing the pieces all for around the same price. Everybody is. But see, places like Hair Club, that's how they made their money, was charging a lot of money for hair pieces. Back in the day, from what I know clients where they used to spend $3,000, $3,000 for one piece. So, you know, because it's become more popular, we are able to decrease the prices because you're not looking to just, you know, keep your business going on those 5-10 clients charging $3,000 a system. Now we have way more people that are willing to do this. So again, the prices start to drop. You know, you're not having to go and charge so much money. However, places like Hair Club are still in that mindset to charge that much money. But even their prices actually have come down in the last, say, 15 years. They have decided to charge less. I guess we're just ahead of the game.
Also, I think it's also they combine hair pieces with their services.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why you get those large. And, you know, a lot of companies they do that. Like when you come in to get your hair done, you're also, the price is included in your service type of thing. Yeah. And that's why it kind of seems, you know, a little bit more than what we would kind of charge our clients. But here you purchase a hairpiece and get a service with us, and you just pay what you really need from us. And so that's why, again, it doesn't.
They're really trying to combine everything into one, and exactly. Been wearing a system a few months, but no one has figured it out. It's not my bio hair. You'll have great videos that help. I have 2 systems, the third one waiting to cut. I highly recommend. Yay! Thank you, Chris. That's awesome. We appreciate that.
Love it. Love it.
So good to see these things. Makes me happy. Been wearing a system for close to 40 years. Really, Super Hairpiece is the best company. Oh, that's so great, John. We're really glad to have your feedback, honestly. 40 years, wow.
Wow.
That's dedication.
Yeah, that's longer than me, so you probably know more than I do.
Yeah, you should come on my show next. I mean, we can pick your brain. That would work. What do you suggest?
We usually don't suggest tweezing out the hairline only because the way it's already manufactured is to give you a natural hairline. However, not to say that you can't do it. I know a lot. I do kind of work more with women's hair systems and pieces and wigs. So I do know the idea of plucking the hairline, but you just have to be really careful and kind of really know what you want your natural hairline to look. So if you are going to pluck, again, we don't suggest it, but if you are going to, just look at how your hairline should look when it kind of looks sparse. So you're not going to want to tweeze so much out of one side and there's, you know, too much hair here. But again, it's a scary thing. I haven't done it ever on anybody because I'm always scared to kind of mess around with the hairline.
Yep.
Because it is supposed to be manufactured to look very natural already. But yeah.
It is. I mean, I don't do it either, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I will go in and I do have a thing where I go in the recession area. I do thin it out, but we don't pluck it per se. We will go in and texturize or thin it out in the recession area to give it that more natural look. Because yes, generally people do have, you know, thinner hair in the recession area, so that does look more natural. But yeah, I'm not one to pluck it out either. And I always say, you know, at your own risk.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like you want to.
And sometimes when you're plucking, you don't know how strong you are, to be honest, and you might actually rip your base or tear your base. So it's just one of those things that we know it. People do it. It's just we don't really highly suggest doing it because there are, you know, risk factors to that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Where's the hair sourced from?
So we have Indian Remy hair, Chinese Remy hair. So they are sourced from those countries, India and China. And we do ethically source our hair. So which means that, you know, we're not just pulling hair from
out of people's heads.
But no, there are scary stories. Like I've heard that what's been going on in the industry where, you know, people are kind of being forced to cut their hair type of thing.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, there's, you know, but no, we do ethically source our hair from, you know, there are certain kind of, what would you say, like cities, I guess, or towns that is part of their economy, as in like growing their hair, making sure it's, you know, always healthy, and then they would, you know, go to somebody to cut their hair, and that person would pay them for their bundle of hair, and then someone like Super Hair Pieces will go to these, you know, companies and purchase the raw hair. So that's how we kind of source our hair. I don't know the like extra fine details of it, but essentially that's.
So they're not coming from dead people, right?
No. No.
I've heard that. I've seen people like,
I know.
Oh, it's from. Are you getting all dead people? No, we're not getting dead people's hair.
No, for sure. No, there are literally towns that they, you know, I guess the part of their where they're what I guess the part of the region they're at, they actually have like the right environment to grow hair. So, you know, the women in that city or town will really eat the right food, eat the right supplements.
It's like their job.
Yeah, it's
right?
their job to really take care of their hair. And then of course it's a generational thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're teaching the next generation how to take care of their hair because they know like this is a source of income at some point, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's cool. Anything else? Oh, Joy Toronto. What's the best way to install a system where the hair doesn't get stuck to the hairline while putting it on? Also, can my scalp suddenly get sensitive to tape with front tube? Okay, so what's the best way to install a system? Honestly, if you can watch Rick's YouTubes, he does a really good job at installing his hair systems. He does it in a way, like he kind of places a mirror down and he actually looks forward and does it that way and then rolls it back. Seems to work for him. I don't know if there's really a trick. I mean, when we're doing it on a client, it's a little bit different, right? I mean, have their head in front of me and I'm kind of putting it on front to back, just keeping the hair out of the way. It'd be different if you're doing it for yourself. But yeah, if you can watch, if you go onto our YouTube channels, Rick does a lot of demos on how he puts on a hair system, so that you might get some good feedback with that. Also, too, can you become, yes, you can become sensitive to a product after the fact. So I've seen this time and time again, where someone can be using the same tape or same glue for like a year, and then all of a sudden develop like, it's called contact dermatitis. It's basically the constant use of it, you just become sensitive to it, or all of a sudden the tape just doesn't work. So I always suggest, if you're using a tape and a glue, take the glue out first and see if you still have the sensitivity. If it's still a sensitivity, change all of it, because usually it's the glue, and I hate to say that, but usually the glue will kind of have a sensitivity more than, say, a tape. If it's just tape you're using, then change your tape and maybe try something different. We have so many tapes, so you're bound to find something that's going to work for you that you're not going to be sensitive to. You can also do a little patch test where you can kind of maybe put a piece of tape behind your ear, leave it for 24 hours, and see if you have any kind of allergy to it. We've done little things where we put a couple different tapes, and remember what you put, and then see when you take your system off if it's actually, red or irritated in those specific areas, and then you know which one you'd be better with. I don't know if that helps, but anything else, guys? Oh, again, live Pro Talk. We have our $15 off today, guys. So the HD111, the M111, and the M101. So again, you can get any color in any of those hair systems, and you can get $15 off, which is an amazing deal. Up to 3 pieces for each one. This is until the 14th. So, get in on that deal, because again, who knows when you're going to get another one this great. So, all right, and I don't know if we have any questions. We are done. So, anyways, yay! Thank you again, Cindy, for joining me today. It was great having you here. And yeah, guys, hey, if at any point you need more information, you can call our customer support. They are amazing, and they'll be more than happy to help you out. You can also book an online consultation where they'll be happy to, give you better information and maybe steer you towards a system that might be right for you. Again, thanks so much for joining, guys, and we will see you next time. Bye.